Hello everyone, and today in this video I will talk about modulo operator, which is another concept I was learning about, and I created these notes to understand this concept. And it's not that difficult to comprehend, but it's not rather that simpler. So I need to create a video about this, and I will start with what is this and how we can use it like in these small setups. So first I will just talk about what modulo operator is. I will create a note. We put this between two values to perform an operation, and this modulo operator is an operator like plus, minus, multiply, and these other operators like these. And what is the main thing? What does it do? It gives you the reminder of values. If if I'm saying like you will just understand it. If I'm saying like I have 5 divided by 2, and if I ask you what is the reminder, so your answer will be it's 1, right? When you do division, like when we do a division, we get a reminder or we don't get a reminder. And when we don't get a reminder, we call it 0. For example, we have 4 by 2. What is the reminder? 0. So I will just draw something here. So when you divide something, let's say 5, and you are dividing it by 2, and I'm saying 2 multiplied by 2 equals to 4, and we get this 1. So this is the reminder. So like this modulo operator gives us reminder, and I have different examples of this, and it will be easier to understand like how we can get the reminder without doing all this. So for example, I have 5 divided by 2. I will say 5 modulo 2. So what is the reminder? So I will say we have 1 as a reminder. So if the number is fully divisible by the number that we are doing the division, and if we are getting any value, any remaining value, then that's the reminder of that division. So if I'm saying 5 modulo 2, what is the reminder? So 1 as a reminder. So this modulo operator will give you the value which is a reminder. And if I'm saying that 4 divided by 2, 4 modulo 2, what is the reminder? You will say 2 is fully divisible, 4 is fully divisible by 2, because 2 multiply by 2 will give you 4. So here the reminder is 0, right? And if I'm saying that what is the reminder if 23 modulo 11, is there any reminder here? So you will say 11 multiply by 2, we will get 22, and we cannot fully divide 23 by 11, so we will get 1 as a reminder. And in these examples, you see we get the number that is not divisible by the number that we are dividing the number from. You will get something as a reminder. And what if I talk about some point values? For example, I have 2.5 modulo 2. So you will see that 2, if I say 2 divided by 2, we will get 0, we will get 1, but it is divisible, but we don't get any reminder here, so we say 0. And here 2.5 modulo 2, we will get 0.5 as a reminder, because 0.5 is left when we divide 2.5 divided by 2. In this case, if I'm saying 23 0.6 divided by 11. So what you will get as a reminder, you will get 1.6, because when you divide this you will say 22, so uh, you will get 1.6 as a reminder, right? And this is what this modulo operator do, is just give you the reminder of these divisions. So in Houdini, you see, I created these nodes. So you will see we have this modulo operator if it gives us the reminder. Example 23 modulo 2, the reminder will be 1, the leftover. And 2.5 modulo 2, the leftover is 0.5. 2.9 modulo 2, the leftover is 0.9. 3 divided by 2, the 3 modulo 2, the leftover is 1. And I'm just using this simple setup from the video that I created recently about the curve view attribute and fit range, and I'm just using this. So uh, it is doing nothing here. I'm just here to make you understand this modulo operator. And this point triangle, you will see I'm using the modulo operator in this point triangles. So the most basic operation you can do with this modulo operator is this. I will just here say point wrangle, and I can just, you will see what I am doing. I will create another attribute modulo, so you will understand that what is the modulo value that we are getting from those equations. And if I'm saying 5 modulo 2, what you will get? Let's see, we will get 1 as a reminder. So 1 here is the reminder that this operation is giving us. If I say uh, 23.5 modulo 2 or 11, what you will get? It should 1.5. So now we have 1.5 as the reminder here. And in this equation, I did this, right? And I will just explain it what I did. We will override this. So I'm using the if equation. If attribute time is equals to 0, if attribute time modulo, let's say 3 is equals to 0, right? uh, oops Then I want integer attribute. I will say new. I will create a new attribute modulo should be 1, right? So I'm saying this. So what I'm doing here, we know that attribute time is this time value that we get here, and currently the time value, I will just put it here. So I will create a new attribute time, so you can see what is the time attribute time. And you should know that the time attribute which is built in Houdini is attribute time, and T is capital here. So you should understand this. So here you see at 25 frame we are at 1. That means we are at 1 second at 25 frames. So the timeline is 25 frames per second. So what I said attribute time modulo 3. That means we are, this is a variable here time, and it is changing per frame. So at 25 frame, the time value is 1. So I am saying, what if 1 modulo 3? What you will get as a reminder? 1 modulo 3. 1 is not fully divisible by 3. So we will get 1 as a reminder. And if this is equals to 0, and here double equals means we are comparing those values. So time modulo 3 at 25 frame per second is 1 modulo 3, and we are getting 1 as a reminder, which is not equals to 0. That means we will get the modulo value. What is happening here? It should now when I wrote this equation, you will see we have this as the as a fixed value. So this equation is not working on this fixed value, so we just have to delete this, and you will see now what is happening here. So at 73 frame, the modulo value becomes 1, and what is happening here? Attribute time modulo 3. That means at 25 frames we are at 1 second. That means 1 modulo 3 we will get a reminder which is not equals to 0. So we need a value 0 by this time modulo 3 equation. And when you will get this 0 reminder, when you divide 3 by 3, you have a like full division and you don't getting any reminder. So at 3 frames, at 3 seconds, at 73, you will get time 3 seconds and modulo 1. At 48, you see the time value is 1.9, and when you say 1.9 modulo 3, so 1.9 is not divisible by 3. So we will get 1.9 as a reminder, and you see 1.9 is not equals to 0, right? So you understand this basic equation, and we have I have something like this. So if you want to see if something is divisible by something else, some else number, if it is giving us a reminder, then you have your answer yes or no. And to answer this yes or no, you have this equation. You can put that value into another attribute in 1 or 0, right? So 1 means true, that means it is not divisible by the time attribute time is not fully divisible by 3, so we are not getting a reminder 0. That means this new attribute will get a value 0. 1 means it is fully divisible, and we just see this, and I have just break that down, and you see that means the time is divided by 3, the reminder will be 0. At 73 frames, the time is 3 seconds. 3 seconds fully divisible by this 3. So you will get 0 as the reminder, and 0 is equals to this 0. So you will get I modulo this integer attribute, you will get 1 as the value. So I hope you understand its first use. We can use this to identify if a number is fully divisible by some other number. And you have this another thing. You will just see what I did. I said attribute modulo equals to attribute time modulo 1. What I am saying that time modulo 1, that means I am now dividing it by 1 and seeing that if we are getting any reminder or not. So attribute time, let's say I will just put it here, or I will just delete this, right? So I'm saying attribute modulo equals to attribute time modulo, let's say 1, right? So you will get something like this. So you see the modulo value is also increasing as the time is increasing, and at 1 second the modulo value is 0. That means we are not getting a reminder, because at 1 second the attribute time is 1. So 1 modulo 1, you will get 0 as the reminder, and you see we are getting 0 as the reminder. But what is happening here, right? So I will just create I will open puref, and you will see we have this time. This is our time, and this is our 1 second, and this is our 2 second, this is our 3 second, this is our 0 second. And the equation is attribute modulo equals to attribute time modulo 3 or 1, right? So this equation is saying that this attribute time is changing per frame. So when we are at 1 second, 1 modulo 1, we get 0 as reminder, right? When I'm saying 0.5, when we are at 0.5 second, 0.5 modulo 1, we are getting 0.5 as a reminder, right? So from this not row, not note, So from this to this, we are going from 0 to 1. We are going from 0 to 1 because at 0.5 seconds we are getting a reminder 0.5. So the modulo attribute value here will be 0.5, right? And when you go far, like when you go far, like 1.5, and if you do like same equation on this, you will get 1.5 modulo 1, and you will get 0.5 as a reminder, because 1 is divisible by this, and when you divide this you will get 0.5 as a reminder. So the value will be same from 0 to 1 here, and same as 0. In this part you will get 0. So every 1 second you will get modulo value from 0 to 1. If you don't if you want to like prove it again, you can say 0 to where we are at when 2.5 seconds, we are at here 2.5 seconds. So 2.5 modulo 1, you will get 0.5 as reminder, and this reminder value will go here. I hope you understand this because it's not that difficult to understand. And you will see when we are at 25 seconds we are getting modulo 0, and when we are at the middle of this we are getting 0.5 as the value, and when you go beyond 1 second you will get similar value. So every frame we are getting a value between 0 to 1, right? So this is another example of this, and you will see to get a value from 0 to 1 after each second. For example, f attribute modulo, you will get time attribute modulo 1, and so at 0.1 second the reminder will be 0.1, because when we divide 0.1 by 1 we get a reminder of 0.1. At 2 we will get reminder 0, at 2.6 the reminder is 0.6. So it is similar. After each second you will get the similar modulo value, right? And this is also an equation when when we are comparing two values, and if the if the condition is right and we are putting it into 1 or 0 value, and that 1 to 0 value is going into this color ramp that we have been doing from the last two videos in the beginner to intermediate series, when I talked about um, the curve view attribute and fit range attribute. And we will fit it also, and we will also use the point warp to do the same. And point triangle, here you see we are fitting the value again also. So here we have this equation, and I will just use this again. So we'll say time will be here because it will be easier for us to understand that, and I can just delete the curve view attribute, but I don't need to. Okay, so I'm saying if attribute time modulo 3 is smaller than 0.3, or I can say that I can create a variable here. So float, and I will say variable equals to chf variable value, and I will just put it right here. So you will know that we have a value here, and I will say variable then I want, if it is smaller than the variable, then I want I attribute modulo equals to 1, right? So we have something like this. Okay, the variable value is 0. Okay, so I am saying that attribute time modulo 3, that means every 3 seconds the modulo value will get 1 variable. Let's say I want 0.5. Okay, so when this value is smaller than this variable 0.5, we will get this I modulo value, this integer attribute value 1. So let's calculate it at 48 frame. Okay, so we are at 2 seconds. So 2 modulo 3, that means we are getting a reminder of 2, which is greater than this variable. That means we are getting a modulo value 0. But if I say it's smaller, right? So I will say 1 or something like that. And if I say, okay, if I'm at, let's say 50 or 24, right? So okay, let's calculate this. So we are at 0.9 modulo 3. That means we are getting a 0.9 as a reminder, which is smaller than this variable. That means we are getting this 1. You understand this, right? And I will do like another example. We are at 100 frame. So the time here is 4.16. So 4.16 modulo 3, 4.16 modulo 3, then we are getting 1.16 as a reminder, which is uh, not smaller than this variable. That's why we are getting this modulo 0. And where we are getting modulo 1? We are getting modulo 1 here at this time frame. So let's take this example 3.03.4 modulo 3. That means we are getting 0.4 as a variable, and when you compare these two variables, which is 1 and 0.3, that means this variable is greater than that variable. So we are getting this modulo value 1, which you can see it right here. So this is the same. So what I'm doing here, if attribute time modulo 0.1 is smaller than this 0.01 value, then we are getting this attribute modulo attribute 1. As I created this example, you will see we have this. So at 24 frame, I'm saying that attribute time modulo 0.1, we have time as 0.95. 0.95, is it smaller or greater than 0.01? So I will create a note so we can understand this. We are at 0.09, 0.95, and we are comparing that 0.01. So is it true or is it false? Is it true or is it false? So now you see that 0.95 is not smaller than 0.01. That means we are getting a false, which is 0, because we have said that if this condition is not like true, then we are getting 0, and if this condition is true, then I attribute modulo will be 1. So in this case we are getting 0, and you will see at this point 1.07, and we are saying that my time is 0.1.078. So I will create a note and I will say 1.708, and so I will say modulo 0.1, the remainder will be 0.08, which is smaller than 0.01. So you will get modulo 1. And how I got this? You will see 70 when you divide, I will say 1.708, when you say 0.1, you will get the remainder 0.008, because 1.70 you can divide it by 0.1 and you will get the remaining value of 0.008. So you will get something like this. And what happens if I put this value, which is this modulo value, which goes from 0 to 1, into this color, and it's saying the attribute modulo will be will get the value 0 and 1. 1 here means this bright color and 0 means this color, this black color. So when I play this, you will see we are getting 1 and 0 values, which is directly going into the CD attribute, and you will see this flickering effect. Okay, I have the last equation, which is I've created this pulse attribute, and we can say modulo also, and you will see I have this value time increment, which is okay. I will just make you understand this. It's simple and it's rather easy than everything we have covered so far, because if you understand what we have covered so far, then it will be easier to understand this. First, I will just create a time attribute, and I will say time to, so we can visualize the time. Second, I will just create that modulo attribute. So attribute modulo will be I will say fit, and I will fit that value into 0.1. So if I'm saying attribute time modulo, let's say 3. So when we did attribute modulo equals to attribute time modulo 3, what you got? I mean, I need to remove this equation to get the value. Okay, so what you got? You will get 3, at 3 you will get 0. So to get the value from 0 to 1, we need these 3 seconds. But what if I want to get the value from 0 to 1 by this 3 second, not this 2.90 to 3? I want to convert this 0.0 to 3 range into 0 to 1 range. So what I will do, I will say attribute modulo, and I will fit that, will fit, and the value is we are getting from 0 to 3. And what we can do, I can create a attribute time inc, or I will say float time inc, and it will be equals to chf time increment value, and I will just this. So we have this time increment value, and I will say time and modulo time inc, and the values can be from 0 to time inc, and we are converting into 0 to 1. So you will see something like this. The modulo value is timing 0. So if I say the time increment value is, let's say, from 0 to 5 seconds now, so you will see we are saying that attribute time, which is our time. So where we are getting this 5 second, 1 2 3 4 5, we are seeing at time is here 1 2 3 4 5. So at 121 frame we are getting this modulo value 0 again, and you will see before that we are getting the value from 0 to 1. So what we are doing here, I converted that time inc value, right? This time inc value, if I do not do this, that means we will get a value from 0 to 5, which we got in this case. You see 0 to 1, and when I say I want 5, you will see we will get the 5 as the you see this, you will get the value 0 at the 5 seconds, because every time the reminder will be the same value that we are getting here until we reach 5, because 5 divided by 5 you will get 0. So now you understand that we are getting a value, and what we did, we just converted that range into another range. So when I say this, you will see at 5 seconds, what is this? It's 3, na? It's 2. I will just say 5. So what will happen at 5 seconds, it will reach value 1, the brightest color, and then it will just do that same thing again. So we have this pulse effect, and we can like decrease this. If I say 2, so every 2 seconds it will do the same. 2, then again, then 2 seconds. So here we are at 4 seconds. So how we can do the same with this warp? So to do this as the warp, I will say point warp, and inside this you have this modulo, and you can fit this, and you need time. Input 2 will be your constant, and this constant will go in the where it will go. First, this will go into your bind export, and this bind export will be your new attribute, which I'll say pulse or modulo, right? And you need minimum and maximum values will be 0 to 1. Source minimum is your modulo value will be, this will this constant will go into the max, and this will go into the minimum. So we are doing this. The same thing here. Time, attribute time, modulo timing, and when you get here, you will see we are doing time modulo this time increment, which was a variable there, and you are putting here, and you are doing the same. Let's just go here, and I will just copy this here and I'll put it here, but the attribute here is modulo, and the you can promote this, but you can promote parameter, or you can just say the input value is, let's say, 4 seconds. So you will see something like modulo time minimum value modulo 0 1, source minimum is this, source maximum is this constant. We have, it should work. Okay, the modulo value is not changing. Why it is not changing? Modulo input 1, we are saying modulo 2. So the value that is coming from this is going into the value. Yes, now you will get something like this, right? I put it into the minimum, so it was my mistake, but you will see we are getting something similar here. So at every 4 seconds you will see the value will become 1, and every 0 seconds it will be here. So I hope you understand this, because it was all about modulo operator and how we use this reminder value to do different things here. So this is it for this video, and I will see you with another concept in the next video. Until then, bye bye. And if you want, you can just read everything. It just what I've explained, it's just written in these notes, and the video is already a bit longer. So you can just pause it and you can read it, and you will understand everything. So yes,